All right, hey guys, Ham Solo here, Kilo Zero Foxtrot Yankee Romeo. I am for the first time combining work with ham radio. And so we use different meters in my work in order to look for toxic industrial chemicals and radiation, sometimes, narcotics, explosives, and so forth. And those meters sometimes carry radio signals. And so we found that when we set up instruments fairly far away, like at a train derailment, sometimes we'll lose signal depending on line of sight and how far away they are. Most of those units are operating off of 900 megahertz. And so you're looking at trying to enhance that signal was kind of what my goal was in running a test. So I have a host meter here. It has a vertical antenna on it currently. That antenna is 900 megahertz omnidirectional. It ties to the computer via cabling, and then the program is running on the computer. Let me see if I can turn that around. And so here's my programming running on the computer. I am looking at a GPS map, actually, of where my house area is. And there are two meters on the screen. One is an AreaRae that's on the bottom. That's the one that we put up usually at like train derailments or venue monitoring or something. And the other one is a little MultiRae 4-gas. And they are basically floating around. There's not a good GPS lock because I don't have them outside. And so I am getting their signals. I'm getting their readings, oxygen concentration, LEL, H2S, and so forth, volatile organic compounds. And I am receiving those through the omnidirectional antenna that I previously talked about here. And let me show you where they are in my room. So they are down here on the floor. So the big area monitor is here, and it's got a weather station on the top and a 900 megahertz antenna. And here is the little handheld one, and it has no antenna. That is mesh, and so it is mesh Bluetooth to here, and then it sends the signal from both this unit and that unit out the 900 megahertz to the host, wherever the host is located. And that is supposed to be, in essence, upwards of 1,000 meters line of sight. Now, I've never seen them go that far. When we would set them up in San Antonio, you'd get sometimes maybe a half mile, and that was it. My intent is to use this 900 megahertz Yagi that I got from a ham fest for 15 bucks, and I'm going to put this Yagi on that host at the computer. Probably do it outside so I have room. So I'm going to put it on a mast, and I'm going to have that 900 megahertz Yagi pointing where I hope to place the meters out in public. And I'm going to have somebody monitor them because those are very expensive meters. And so I'll send somebody downrange and see how far we can get the signal. Most of the time, usually you can't get over a mile straight line of sight if you have just the two units. And you have to usually put a repeater in. So my intent is with that Yagi, can I get much farther than a mile, and how far can I go? So we're going to see how that works. Have the adapters, had to make a cord because the cord I wanted to use has a TNC terminal on it. And so not BNC, but a screwed TNC. And so the other side, I had to have a TNC put on. That was a magnet mount before for an NMO antenna. And so I had to have a BNC put on by a friend of mine who had the tools for it. And then I'm going to use an adapter to go from BNC to N. And this Yagi has an N connection. So that's the intent. Let's see how it goes. All right, just to do a status check before I try this out, I've now hooked the Yagi up with the in connector going to BNC cable to the TNC slot here, and it's still reading just fine on the screen. And when we checked it, when we made that cable, there was only 2 decibels of loss in the entire cable. And so should have good signal quality on it. And now I just need to deploy it and see what happens. All right, going to do a test on this 900 megahertz Yagi for these meters. So I have the meter sitting right here on the chair, and I'm going to go this way about 5 miles and do a test from over there. And so I should stop every mile to see connectivity. So let's check it out. Okay, normally this setup is going to be inside of a command unit or a hazmat command vehicle or something like that. Right now I've got it in my personal vehicle, and so I have a mag mount antenna on the roof. It's the one that comes with the Honeywell Ray Systems units. I have the host sitting here on the seat. It is connected to that mag mount antenna through the window. Then I have the program running, and I can see the unit that is sitting on my porch in the backyard, and everything is okay, and it's reading it and picking it up just fine. So I'm going to start heading down the road, and I'm going to check about every, let's say I'll go a half mile, mile and a half, and then from there probably every mile for 2, 3, 4, 5 until I get to the park that I'm trying to get to. And that's with the mag mount specifically. Once I see if I lose the signal, then what I'll do is I'll switch over to the Yagi antenna. So let's just go along the way and see. I'll report in every half mile. All right, I've gone a half mile, and I am still pulling data on the computer. And so the sorry, flip the camera. The regular antenna is doing just fine. The magnet mount on the roof for a half mile, and that's pretty typical for when we set up. All right, I am now about a mile from my house. It is just past that little elk on the roof to the left, about a mile away, and I just pulled data about a minute ago, and so it's doing it every 2 minutes. So yeah, it looks just fine. It's pulling just fine, and so right now 1 mile is good. All right, now at 1 mile and a half, and it just pulled data. So it is still reading at a mile and a half from my home where I have the meter placed. So I'm going to do it every mile. So I'll do it at 2 miles, and I'll do it at 3. All right, so right as I got to 3 miles, the signal kind of ghosted, and now it is gone. And so it pulled data up to a point, and then right about when I got here at 3 miles, it gave one last report, and then the signal went ghost. So at 3 miles with the stock antenna, the magnet mount antenna, it is now ghosted the signal. So it's no longer receiving data or pulling data from the unit. And so I will not set up here, because my intent is to see if I can get it from inside of the park that I'm going to, which is over 5 miles away. So I know at 3 miles, the regular magnet mount antenna went out. Normally, like I said, when we set this up at a train derailment or a vehicle wreck with large fuel spill, or we're doing perimeter monitoring at a facility or a stadium or something like that, we have to put repeaters in, because we lose that signal with these smaller omnidirectional antennas. And so now at 3 miles, signal's gone. I am no longer pulling data. It's been over 3 minutes, and I do not have a new data. And there is an alert. And so if I grab that alert and click on it, I'll have to pull it up in the alert window, sorry. But I'm sure it's saying I lost connectivity. And so I am going to go into the park, and then I'll measure the distance, and then I'll set up the Yagi and see what we can do. Okay, one little hiccup I forgot to mention is the way that I have the program set up. It needs internet right now in order to run both the PTM connection to the host, as well as seeing the map and all this. And so now that I'm inside the park, I am now back into a little bit of internet reception. Got the thing restarted. I am now running and polling, but I'm several miles further on. So let me get a measurement and I'll let you know, and then I'll get to setting up the Yagi. All right, just measured it using Google measuring distance or whatever. And so exactly from the unit on my deck to right here is 5.75 miles. So 5 miles and 3/4 of a mile. And so I am going to now set up the Yagi, and then we'll see if we can get a better signal, because right now we're getting nothing at 5 miles and 0.75. Okay, so for whatever reason, with the Yagi sitting here on, it's pointing directly at where the unit should be. I'm at 5 3/4 miles, and I am not getting any signal. And so I'm going to think that maybe I'm just too far away for 900 megahertz. Now, my intent was that this was supposed to help, but right now that doesn't seem to be the case. Also a factor, though, is that there's no internet, and that's probably a hindrance I had not accounted for, because with the old software for this program, you didn't have to have internet in order to get data from the machines. And so now that it's a web-based application, this is kind of making it more difficult to try to lock down, or making it more difficult to try to focus in on what the problem is. Is it really that I'm not getting signal from the machine on the thing, or is it because I don't have internet? And so I'm going to move back up to where the visitor center is. There seems to be a better internet signal there. Maybe that'll make a difference. It's only like a 1/4 mile away, so it'll still be about 5.5 miles. But let me dismantle this mast and everything, and try that. All right, I moved up to the visitor center for the park. I've got the Yagi set up. It is pointed exactly towards my house from where I'm sitting. I'm probably maybe 400 feet higher than where my house is. This was only I thought it was half a block or something. I mean, it is only several hundred feet from the parking lot I was just in. Have much better internet here. So I got the program started. It is running. There is no signal data coming in. I have, the host on. And so everything is working, but I'm not getting any signal. So this is probably 5.6 miles. And so I had MPD Digital create a cable for me, which was an N connector on one side and the TNC on the other side. And that way I wouldn't have to have an adapter or go to BNC. And so I'm gonna try this one just to make sure it's not the cable. All right, so even with changing the cord out to the MPD Digital cord that was made for me, I'm still not getting any signal. So I do have internet here. There's just apparently it's too far away, or there's too many hills and stuff in the way. I think 5 miles was probably going to stretch it for 900 megahertz. I hope for better, but that just may be too far. And so with this small of a Yagi, I guess that wasn't that effective. I'm going to go back to where I had stopped earlier at 3 miles when I first lost the signal, and see if I can reestablish it using the Yagi. Come back in to about maybe 1.5 miles-ish from the house, and I have the Yagi up, and I am getting live data from the unit with the Yagi up at about 1.5 miles. And so the host is on. I have it move this so you don't get confused. So the host is here. It's running off of this cord from MPD Digital, and it's going up to this Yagi that is pointed that way towards my house, about 1.5 miles that way, straight line distance. And polling data should pull here again in a second. Right now it is 12:19:57. This looks like it updates on my unit. For some reason it updates about every couple minutes, and so even though the unit is reading correctly at 12:20 here on the top, it takes a minute for this data log to record, or data log the and I don't know where the setting for that is, and so that should update here in just a second. And so I have it, like I said, connected to that Yagi about 1.5 miles. I tried at the 3 mile mark and I couldn't hit anything. There's a lot of rolling hills between where I was at and this unit that's sitting in my house. And so I think that might just be a terrain problem. And so, you know, I guess more study needs to occur as far as distances and things like that. So it just pulled there. Even though it's pulling every 8 seconds or so, it only shows up in the data log here on the computer every couple of minutes. But I got a live feed from the unit right now, sitting on the porch of my house at 1.5 miles with the Yagi, and so that's working. And so I do have signal, but I'm just not getting what I was expecting with more distance. But that again could be a problem with the terrain. And so I'll try to explain that a little bit better in the video, as far as the lobes that come off of a Yagi, directionality of a Yagi compared to omnidirectional with the, you know, say an antenna like something like this, right? It's going to be omnidirectional as opposed to a Yagi. So I'll try to put graphics in the video kind of describing that. I think this will still work better on the command units if they can have a mast. Where's my back there? A mast setup, you know, with the Yagi pointing at even their repeater compared to where their monitors are. But you know, I am getting a solid, you know, 1.5 miles with it with no problem. And so, you know, again, it's just something to look at and see if I can do some more study on this. All right, well, that was kind of the end of the video. I'm now in Houston at a Clan Lab Investigators conference showing some of those meters that I had in the video, as well as other things that we use to identify narcotics. And so just wanted to say I'm gonna have to do more with it. Gonna have to find out if that Yagi might have just been a terrain issue or what. And so let y'all know. Until then, this is Ham Solo K0FYR 73.